Well, we are certainly glad to have you all here on this session of the Partner Broadcast today. I'm excited to be here. It feels like summer is finally here.
It's so true. We finally have got our good weather, and we really appreciate everybody making the time to join us, especially when it's so nice outside.
Yes. And since you are here with us, make sure you guys are engaging during the event today. Use that chat box, put your questions, your comments, your feedback in there, and make sure you guys are also engaged with us outside of the event. So make sure you've subscribed to the YouTube and that you have liked and followed the Facebook, because that content kind of intermingles with this.
All right, let's get into what we're going to be covering today. So this is, I like this graphic. This is, in fact, I'm almost wearing the same shirt. So this is my laziest time, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But at the same time, when I say laziest, like this is when I put in the least amount of hours. It's when I put in the least real work or desk type work or operational work. And yet this time, the next 2 months, really stacks my entire year. And part of what we're going to be going over today is I'm going to break down my summer plan, how I do things, how I work the least amount of hours and yet have the largest amount of impact in stacking my commission checks.
We're also going to cover, Ryan, two very unique, different revenue streams that are going to be without even really adding any hours. In fact, probably working less. So that's exciting. And we're going to work through those casual conversations with those revenue revenue streams, and work into finding out how they're going to help us to build a totally different type of client.
Well, because those opportunities come up very easily in the summer, and having those kinds of, converting to those kinds of clients, but it can be really easy to sort of slide into the lazy summer versus the productive summer if you don't have the right mentality.
That's so true, Heather. And to make sure that that doesn't happen, we're going to cover a lot of information, and you're going to get 2 new tools today. And we're going to talk about an entire focus that we're going to bring about. But before we do that, we do want to talk about, or maybe figure out, why Ryan Summer is so very important to us, not only as a company, but to each one of our advisors singularly.
Yeah. I think, I see people go into one of 2 modes. They're either going into complete shutdown mode. And the excuses I hear are, oh, business owners are busy. Business owners are on vacation. I can't get a hold of anyone. And those are all like very valid things. And so, I see advisors, this is my 25th summer doing this with partners. Yes, a little bit. This is my 25th summer with GMG that we've watched people go through. And so the idea of shutting down is valid. So I see people either shut down, or what's even worse, I see them go into survival mode. And I got to tell you, neither one of those are a healthy thing to be at. You can't be in shutdown mode, and we'll talk about why in a minute, but you also can't be in survival mode where, forgive me for lack of a better way to say, you reek of desperation. I see people that they're like, income's terrible during the summer. I got to get out there. I got to make things happen. I got to shake trees. People can smell fear. People can smell desperation on you, and you come across as the loser rep that can't get by. And I'm sorry, I hope I'm not being too blunt today. You guys are in for like the raw session.
It takes all the legitimacy away from what they're doing. I totally get it. And I'm glad that you pointed out the kind of shutdown mode, because we've seen that for years, the psychological block that some advisors kind of put in their heads that, we're just shut down for the summer, but it does not really work. Summer lifestyle is here, but it doesn't mean that we can't take advantage of where everybody's at mentally.
Yeah. This shutdown mentality that we used to see, the way that we used to combat this is we thought, well, we can't really keep advisors from shutting down. So the last, I think 3 or 4 years, every year your team puts together this set it and forget it action plan, where advisors can work like 1 hour a week and keep some funnel activity going on. And we will be releasing that today as well. But what I'll say is that if that's all you decide to do is participate in the set it and forget it which is free for everyone. Everyone will have access to it at the end of this call. It's a true action plan where we're going to drip things to you every week, not to give too much away. But I'll tell you, Kendra, people are really missing out if that's all they do, because of just what else happens during summer.
Right. I think this is a time, Ryan, the 6-month mark is like, half the year is over. So
Yeah.
a lot of people take the opportunity to look back and kind of think about where they've gotten for the year. Did they reach those goals that they had set for themselves in January? And sometimes when we're doing that reevaluation, we're not really happy
Yeah.
with where we find ourselves. And we can't have the mentality, as you just mentioned, that it's dead. We have to have the opposite mentality, or things are just not going to work out the way we've planned. And we need to explain that to advisors so they understand what we're trying to get to for
I think
them.
especially if someone's newer, they're probably thinking that our busy season is probably, mid-February through April 15th. But I want you to understand that our busy season, our pipeline, so to speak, is the majority of our revenue comes in between the beginning of August and October 30th.
A lot of advisors are shocked when we explain that to them and the reasons why behind the fact that that is our busiest income time.
Yeah. And so understand and towards the fall, Kendra will show income charts and things like that, that'll really show you that this is when the majority of commissions are paid out, not because deals came in a long time ago, but because this is when clients are most ready to act. Now, what I've seen in the past is we tell people, hey, August 1st through October 30th, that's our busy season. So again, they're like, well, I can shut down. But really, Kendra, the problem is you're putting your entire pipeline at risk, because I see people, they're like, okay, second week of August, third week of August, kids are going back to school. Now I'm going to jump back in. But by then you understand that business owners have already gotten their, quarterly tax bills. They already have they've gotten those penalty and interest tax bills from either not filing back in April or from filing and not paying.
Right.
So this is when those yellow letters start to go out in late July. If you're not working the pipeline during the summer, you're missing out. You're not in a position.
Momentum, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to start from zero at the beginning of August, say I'm going to give myself a 2-week head start, you're never going to get up to have enough momentum. You might get a deal before October.
Yeah.
Might. But if you slow down or stop throughout the summer, it's just like a car. Like if you have no momentum, you're not going anywhere. You have to keep your foot on the gas to keep moving, right? There's nothing different with this. If you stop, you're going to have to start from zero all over again.
Well, there's this misconception, I think, that and it's kind of true. If you've probably been here before as advisors, regardless of service, for your financial services, for whatever the case is, I think people have been here. They say, well, I'm calling, I'm leaving voicemails, I'm sending emails, I'm not getting replies. What I would suggest is you're accurate in your perception that summer can be more difficult to work traditionally. And you really need to take on a different mindset for summer. And that's what we're going to be mainly, the last couple months, we're spending the majority of our time somewhere. The summer mindset and how to capitalize on summer is where we're going to spend the most of our time. And I would say, Kendra, that anyone whose summer isn't their biggest time of year, and when they bring on the most clients, if that's not true, like they need to tune in, they need to listen to this. Because
focus and pay attention today, because it should be.
It really should.
If we're doing it the right way. And I love the fact that you use the word traditional.
Yeah.
And we're going to explain why that is not going to be the case, not that traditional approach. And that's how you're going to get ahead. I know, I don't know how many of you advisors have heard of the term, the fresh start effect. I learned about this a couple years ago when I was doing some goal planning and stuff like that. And it's a psychological phenomenon where people are motivated to pursue goals or...
Yeah, we always think of this being like a January 1st thing.
Yeah. So think about it like January 1st, a birthday. Like we've all done this, but it is, there's a psychological effect when there's a hard start date, because we feel like any of the things that we didn't accomplish before no longer matter.
Yeah.
Like there's fresh start. And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
So how does that translate into what we're going to be doing?
Well, I think you've got to understand that in the same way that business owners in December, there's this mentality that I'm not happy with where I am. And not just business or like everybody,
Mhm.
they're like, man, I can't believe 2025 last year. I can't believe 2025 has flown by. We're at the end of the year. And whatever the things they're unhappy with, maybe that's, I don't see my family enough. I'm working too much. I didn't put enough in retirement this year. I weigh too much. I said I was going to quit smoking and I didn't, like whatever the case. I don't smoke, by the way, but whatever the case is, there's this kind of wake up moment where most people wake up and realize they're still not where they set out to be. And what we found is that summer is one of those as well, because
Mhm.
everybody makes these resolutions come December and January. And business owners realize as they're starting to come into this that, man, it's like half the year is gone and I still weigh what I said I wouldn't weigh by
Mhm.
summer. I still have as little in the bank account as I said I would have by. And so because of that, it opens up people to a freshness a few times a year that otherwise wouldn't exist.
Right. I've never met anybody who come one of those points, whether it's, New Year's or right now, and they say, "Oh, I'm so happy with everything I'm done. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing." Even if they were, really successful and they met some of their goals, there's always something that we want to improve.
Yeah.
I wish I could be like, "Yep, checked off all my goals. I'm good to go. I'm just going to coast the rest of the year." But
Yeah.
that's never true. And why is that important to us right now? Like,
Yeah.
what is that? How does it affect our clients? How does it affect the advisors?
Yeah. I think that sorry, I have like the worst ADHD in the world and the air conditioner just kicked on. So I'm worried that everyone will be able to hear. So I will shut the air conditioner off.
At least
and
it's nice
then-
enough out to have the air conditioning kick on. It's
I
been a
know.
minute since our area actually decided to give us good weather. So
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
Back to, can you ask your question again? Sorry.
Yeah. So this mentality, how does it trickle down? Or like, are we looking at it as far as the advisor side or our client side? Why is it important
Yeah.
that we understand it right now?
I think we've got to step past, traditional work in the aspect. Let me say it another way. So if someone was in retail, we're not in retail, but if someone was, then they really have to, you got to know the season. You got to
Mhm.
know where you're at and you have to adopt to the season. And what I mean by that is when it's Black Friday season and Christmas season and things like that, people are expecting big red for sale signs. And if that means that you have to mark your prices up like Best Buy does to say on sale, like that's what you have to do. People are expecting to get more emails. They're expecting to communicate in that way. They're expecting, like I said, sales. And so you have to treat people in the season that they're in and understanding that business owners are the same way. And advisors are right to feel like, hey, I'm doing all the things that I did all year and I'm not getting the results. And they're right. You're reaching out, you're emailing, you're trying to get meetings. What you have to realize is that business owners by and large don't want to have they don't want to have as many meetings as they did. They want to be out on their boat.
There is a summer mentality.
Yeah.
So I guess what you're saying is that we need to meet them where they're at, right?
Yes. And I stumbled into this accidentally right after COVID. So I think, like 5 years ago now, I decided that I was going to take summers off. I was going to pre-stack my way. And when I say take summers off, I mean like literally take the entire summer off. And part of that was I thought, well, this is kind of a joke. I hope you guys can take a joke, but I'm like, none of our advisors don't work. Why should I? Like, because I'm going to try to get them motivated. I'm going to try to get them out there working and they're not going to want to. Business owners, our email campaigns get sometimes lower open rates, and so you just look at this and you're like, well, if I'm going to take some time off, this is a good time to take off.
Mhm.
And by getting out of the office and being on vacation more, I don't golf, but being on the things I do, being on the boat more, being at, different like even I'm at the first part of the golf outing, but not the golfing part of the golf outing, being at the summer events, being at open houses, graduations, weddings, all the things that happen. It's funny that when I first started, quote, taking summers off, you and I would joke that, holy crap, I did way more cost segs. I did way more personal business than I did all of the rest of the year because I was stepping away. And at first I thought, well, it's because I'm stepping away from my daily responsibilities. And so I hate to say it, but when you've been like cramming all week and you get to the open house, I'm an introvert. I don't know how many of you are introverts, but I don't want to talk to people. I'm there for the taco salad and what corner can I find? Because I'm fried. And I just I want to be here. And the last thing I want to do is talk about work, to be honest. But when you step back and you don't work for 2-3 months, like when I first started this, what naturally happens is your tank is full. You're more relaxed. And remember earlier I talked about that reeking of desperation?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. When I run into someone at an open house or both my kids are in track and field and I run into, all I'm doing is I'm standing there, track and field, hands on the fence line. I just want to watch my kids or whatever. And somebody wants to pitch me. Like they just reek of desperation. Like you're so broke.
It's like read the room, right?
Yeah. That you've got to pitch me here. But what I did find is that as I took summers off, I don't know, people saw me on the boat more. On vacation more. My tan was darker, whatever the case was. I looked more chill and relaxed. And because of that, people are naturally attracted to what's going on in your life. What are you doing? I'll give a real example. And Kendra, you can help me to be really careful because I don't want to give away the business because they're a massive company. So there's a company that I had tried to get into for a while. They'd be a good payday. And, so I knew I had emailed the CFO, I had this, that, and the other and that kind of thing. And just never got anywhere. Like, oh, we already have a tax firm.
All of the traditional ways to reach someone.
Yep. And we were out of town with the kids and ran into them. And I'm being very careful not to accidentally give anything away. And just, oh, hey, how's it going? And that kind of thing. Ran into the owner. And we're connected we're not even like friends on Facebook, but I think with Facebook, friends of friends can sometimes see stuff. So the person pulled me aside and said, hey, can I ask you a question? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, how do you take so much time off of work? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you're like perpetually on vacation. And I'm like, oh, I've been doing this for that. And they're like, what do you do? What do you like?
Which is ironic because this person is highly successful in their own field.
Oh yeah.
So you would assume that they would be able to do that and take time when they want to, but it's an obstacle for them.
Yeah. And that conversation led to, we should grab coffee sometime, that kind of thing. And part of that, I think I'm way off script here and that's okay. I guess what I really want to say is that if you're out there living your good life and you're not reeking of desperation and your tan looks good, people are going to say, you look good. You look healthy. What are you doing? And that's actually your position of power. You talk about having the high ground, so to speak. You got to understand when people are asking you, what do you do? This is your opportunity to be able to say, like, oh, what do you guys like? How are you taking so much time off? How are you this? How are you that? And you say, oh, we had such a good year this year.
It leads to more.
And they're like, what do you do? What do you do exactly? Everything like that. And this is where the pitch comes in. Well, we're tapped into a group that we have $2.3 trillion available. Our job is to get that money out, local, state, and federal incentives, and get that money out to businesses that are trying to grow, trying to retain their employees, things like that. I always just like to say something that everyone can say, that's me. Because the next words out of their mouth is going to be, would we qualify for something like that? And so I guess all that, if I was to summarize that, their guards are down if you're approaching them at the right places. Listen, you could not take a business meeting all summer and just where you're golfing, your grad parties, your open
Your
houses,
weddings, your
the weddings you're going
barbecues.
to, the track meets you'll be at, the soccer games you'll attend, that kind of thing. But even more than that, I mean, Kendra, again, you've been a witness to this. Like, I've closed more business being in Mexico, a place we can't offer
Yeah,
our
so
services.
ironic, right?
But understand, everyone else that can afford to golf on an afternoon on Tuesday or can afford to be at the resort in Mexico,
Mhm.
they either own a company or work at a company that qualifies for what you do.
Right.
And so all you have to do, you don't have to sell. In fact, it's like anti-selling. And so what tends to happen here is, I mean, man, there's another one. We were in a pool in Mexico, and for I like literally like over a month, and the guy came up to me and said, "I've heard that you've been here for a month. I'm gonna curse. It'll be my one on this call. How the hell are you at a resort for a month?" And I said, "Well, I don't have to, like, you know what I mean? Like, business comes to me. I don't." He said, "What do you do?"
Mhm.
And I told him what we do. He was, I think I can say who he is. He's, if you guys have heard of Robert Graham Clothing, like, he was one of their main vice presidents of Robert Graham Clothing. You think, like, I could either sit around and I can work hard to get those relationships, or I could just be out there living my good life.
Right. I think basically, I mean, if I could say one word that it all boils down to is its mindset.
Yeah.
So if we have the right mindset and we're meeting them where they're at, it's going to allow us to reach them in a manner that we really couldn't any other way.
Yeah.
And it leaves a different impression with them, I guess, is what it says to me is like the impression when you meet somebody the first time, that's a foundation for your entire relationship with them. And this is a completely different approach than we ever have an opportunity to do any other time of the year.
Yeah. And I think I'd love to hear from some of you, because I got to imagine, I don't golf, but I know people that golf and they fish and they're out on, you know, fishing charters and things like that. And this is where they get all of their cost seg from. I mean, there's people that I'm like, "Hey, tell me what you do so I can talk about it on the broadcast and we can help people replicate." It's like, I know one guy, for like 15 years, all he does, he goes out fishing near Fort Lauderdale. I don't want to give away his fishing hole, but you know, like, you're on a fishing charter with other people that are paying to deep sea fish. Guess what? They qualify for your services. So I'd love to hear from some of you what you're doing, where you're at, how you're encountering, because there's some people that are like, "Well, that's great and everything, but I don't golf, I don't fish. How do I meet those people?" Heather, I'll let you pipe in if you start to see those comments roll in. In the meantime, Kendra, on your last comment you just said about the mentality, it's just different. Like, I'm not anti-winter or pro-summer or the other way around. I mean, I am for personal reasons, but in terms of business, it's just about being where you are.
Mhm.
Like if I owned retail stores, then I would market one way, you know, in
Throughout
back to school,
the
and I'd work
business year,
one,
the school year, and another way in the summertime.
yeah, and one way at Christmas and one way I mean, move with the season. And so all winter long, there's like, I mean, come September and October, people are like, "Oh, you know, kids are going back to college and this, and it's time for me to
buckle
get my,"
down.
yeah. And so that's the way you approach them, you know. That's, you know, I put on the collared shirt and I play the game and I reach out and I talk to them where they're at, and I'm where they're at. In summer, they're just not there. I prefer that style. I'm more of a casual person.
Mhm.
And so I prefer that style. Maybe it suits me better. Maybe it's uncomfortable for you. Maybe you don't really know how to do that. But I think for most of you, you're in relationship business. You understand that. I think where people also get lost, Kendra, is everybody on this call, you're used to selling a difficult service, whatever it is. If you're in real estate, you're selling a difficult service. If you sell life insurance, you're selling a difficult service. And I think you have to like break free of 20, 30, 40 years of mentality that you sell something because you don't sell something. You give something away now.
Mhm.
And people have to move into that. It's like, I want you to imagine that tomorrow somebody buys your company. You're no longer an agency. You're no longer an advisor. You're no longer a financial planner. And someone comes along, and I know a real example. We had a guy not too long ago, like 10 years ago, he sold his company, pharmaceutical company here in the area, billions and billions of dollars. I want you to imagine he hires you and he's like, "Here's $1 billion. I want you to quit being a financial advisor. And I just want you to give this money away." right? You'd change the way you do things. And it's such a, like, we're stuck in this mentality because, Kendra, if I called everyone salespeople on this call, they'd say, I'm not a salesperson. You're not. So stop acting like one. Don't act like one.
That's a good point.
Act like
Change your
someone that
mindset.
has $2.3 trillion in their pocket.
Right.
And go to the mall and buy some sunglasses like somebody that has $2.3 trillion. I'm not ever one to like, oh, go buy the car, go do this and go. But what I'm telling you is get out to the events, get out to the charity outings.
Own the confidence that your
Yes.
service portfolio gives you.
Yeah.
Like this is what you're given when you sign up to work with us, and you have this opportunity. Put that on, wear it like a coat. Like, you have this money to get into the hands of everybody in your area.
Yeah.
You are the man or the woman. So act like it.
Just being out to lunch on a Tuesday during the year, and you look around and there's all these people that are in their little business attire and everything like that, and they run into you and you're wearing flip-flop shorts and a linen shirt. They're going to ask what you're doing.
Mhm.
And you're like, hey, what's going on? Just be relaxed. Have no agenda, no anything. And just like, hey, how's it going? Like, how's the summer treating you? You know, here in our town, there's huge 4th of July events. Like, you go to something like that, you're going to talk to like 50 to 100 business owners that day. And all you got to do is have a better tan than them, nice sunglasses,
because
and
everybody
look
wants
relaxed.
that. Everybody wants to have the lifestyle where they feel like that they get to choose what they're
Yeah.
doing and where they're spending their time and who they're spending their time with. And when they see someone doing that, they want a little piece of that.
Yeah.
And we need to take all of that mentality and everything, and we need to use it to be able to scale this summer. And I know the word scale can be a little bit tricky because it implies working harder or more,
Yeah.
or buckling down. But in this instance, we're going to show everybody that it actually doesn't mean that.
Yeah.
And we talked about earlier, there is 2 different revenue streams.
And
that-
right before you go there,
Yeah.
like I'm sorry, and then I want you to go there. Right? Are you guys are you doing this? Our video. I hope our video is better there. I don't think it is. Sorry, guys. I think it's our internet. It's not you. It's us. Are you guys doing this? Are you? I'm not, like, you guys are quiet in the chat today. So maybe I'm hitting home and you're digesting it, or maybe you have no idea what I'm talking about. I want you to get this today, despite the fact that if you're seeing what I'm seeing, I'm a big blurry blob right now. I want you to get what I'm saying. So if you have questions about this, let us know. If you do this, I want to hear from you, because I can tell you that a lot of our advisors that are kind of top of their game, this is what they're doing.
Right, I can
They're just
name off
out there.
a dozen right now.
Yeah.
That the summertime is when they get out there and they plant the seeds, and it's when they feed their pipeline for the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kendra, you were saying, and I apologize. We're going to talk. You promised her at the top of
Yeah.
the call 2 revenue streams.
2 revenue streams, and it is going to allow you to scale the summer without adding more effort and more time, which
Yeah.
is the key, right? We want that lifestyle. So let's get started. There's 2 different ones. The first one,
Yes. So 2 revenue streams we're going to talk about. One of them is, the first one is building direct clients. And that's kind of what we just talked about,
Mhm.
that you're out there. So I guess this one's pretty self-explanatory. There are people that can buy your services. They can buy the services that you already offer, like maybe your financial services, your real estate, your consulting,
Mhm.
your accounting. But what I mean is that they're employers or they're commercial property owners. Kendra, we talked about the hot list,
Yeah, the last
Um,
several months.
manufacturers,
Hotels, apartment complexes, assisted living,
car dealerships,
car dealerships.
medical offices. This is like your hot list, but really anyone that owns a building or is an employer is on your hot list. And so when we look at this, the way that you're going to do this is everything we just talked about. You're just going to be available. I brought in, I want to show you guys. Let's see somewhere. Yes. So this guy right here, this is an iPad mini. I also have an Android one. One of the 2 is always in my car. My phone is always in my pocket. So if I'm, at the track meet, or I'm at a graduation party, whatever the case is, or I'm out to a restaurant or whatever, this is always with me. And I talked about this before. You really need a notepad, like an Apple Notes file or a Google Keep file or something like that has all of your links in it, so that as you talk to people, you can get into that dialogue
You have to
quickly.
be prepared. If you're not prepared, you're not going to have the confidence to have that natural conversation with somebody that's just kind of impromptu and help lead them through the conversation. So doing that, it's right on your phone. You're prepared. You just click
Yeah.
and bring it up.
Now, whether you're on an Apple device or an Android device, another practical tip that I want to give everyone. So right now I'm on an Apple device. Heather, I think we're lagged. There we go. So on an Apple device, but Chrome is the exact same way. There's these things called tab groups. And I've got a tab group. I just call mine GMG pages. So it's always open. It's always on my tab, and you can flip to Kendra's camera for just a second. So I'll show you. This is my tab group. I'm not going to flip through my other tab groups, but no matter where I'm at, Kendra, go like that. No matter where I'm at, I can grab my iPad or grab my Android tablet. I've got a saved group, and I've got, so here I want to go to the cost seg page. I can just go to that and be at this kind of instant.
Easy and simple.
And so when I look at that, I can just, if I run into you and I'm talking or whatever, and it's easy enough. We're gonna be at track meet for hours. We're gonna be at grad party for hours. Remember, I talked about not reeking of desperation though.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to they're like, what do you
when
do?
You're
and you're
prepared,
like,
you keep that from being something that can happen to you.
Yeah.
You're nervous or whatever. But if you're prepared like this, it's just casual.
It is. I do love the, smaller 7-inch tablet size, but whether it be Android, it's less imposing. It's this, you can be there and somebody starts talking, the dialogue goes there. And you can just be there quickly. Any breakfast or coffee meet I'm ever at, this is how I am right here. And, where I can just carry on some dialogue, and until it arrives at that, like what?
Mm-hmm.
That's when, sorry, you were about to say something.
Well, everything that we're talking about, I touched on it just briefly earlier, but we said that you were going to be able to get clients based on a completely different relationship. And that's what we're talking about. The relationship is comfortable.
Yeah.
Casual. They don't feel sold to. And we've found that over the years and over the summers, clients that come in that way stay.
You just nailed it. Like the clients that they stay, I've got clients that, are 15 years old and lifetime clients. They're just every single year residual business at the beginning of the year, every year.
I think it starts with that level of confidence.
Yeah.
Because they never question what you're doing for them.
They're also highest to refer business over.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I like that casual approach, whether it be your phone or your tablet, that you can just be into that very quickly. Same thing on my phone. I've got those tab groups saved on here. I can be into that very, very quickly. Now, to bookend that end, what I'm saying is, when you run into someone, you're talking to them about anything but business. It's just, how's it going? That kind of thing. They ask you, oh, I'm just enjoying, what are you up to this year? Oh, well, we're off to Croatia again, whatever the kid. They're going to if you're just living your life there, and if those aren't you, then you can't say those things. I'm not suggesting you lie or anything like that.
What works for you. If you're, we just got back from the barbecue, or we took the kids to the beach, or went and visited someone, those are the conversations that we're talking about. It doesn't have to be this huge dramatic thing. It's relaxed.
Yeah. If you're relaxed, they're like, oh, you're looking good. Did you lose some weight? Whatever the case. You're like, yeah, just find a way to get into the fact that things are going. Yeah. It's, it's nice. I'm kind of, for me, one of the things I know I'll be saying, not that this is too rehearsed, but my daughter's off to college next year. I'm taking the summer off because I just really want to focus on family and that kind of thing. You say stuff like that and people are, how are you taking the summer off?
Yeah. Piques their interest, right?
Yeah. Well, we get chased by clients most of the year, so I figure I can afford to give myself a few months. You can still put out that mystery. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, people are going to, at that point, that's where it's, well, what do you mean? What do you do? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm tapped into a group. We have $2.3 trillion available to us. And our job is we go find small, mid-sized companies that want to grow or trying to kind of retain, maybe have been through some struggles or anything like that. And we help get that money out there. So it's been a good year. Like you say that, and it's like, well, what kind of programs? Well, who would qualify? That kind of thing. Well, really, anyone that has more than 1 or 2 employees. At that point, I just like to say something so stupidly low. Anyone that, if you're talking to a building owner and anyone that owns a building or has any put renovations into it, or if they're hiring staff, there's programs available. So just at that point, you're not pitching, and eventually they will say the words, would we qualify?
Right.
You say, well, yeah,
into
you
the
guys would qualify.
calculator right on your phone.
Right. That.
So-
and then you just said it, and I worry that it was too soft in your mic. You said
Right on your phone or
into your
device.
calculator.
Yeah, into your calculator.
Yeah.
Because that's how simple it is. That's where you've taken them with the conversation.
Yeah.
So that's revenue stream 1 for our direct clients. We can also use the tool that we launched last month, right?
Yeah. In fact, I want to pull it up and show. So that's what happens out in the field, so to speak. Now, once you get back, your team has developed this tool. And for anybody that missed it last month, this is great, Kendra. This is where people can go through. I don't know why it's not going through. Oh, no, I was on the right one. Okay. I don't know why it's not going through. But people can go through the, Heather, would you do me a favor? There's a little spindle thing there. It's probably because I hit the back button or something like that. Do you see it? It's right in the center of the screen. Maybe. Gotta love live, right? Okay.
It's pretty easy though. It just takes you, for those who were on last month, you'll remember it's 4 questions.
Yeah.
It builds out the perfect introduction email for you. Even if you're already spoken to them and you got them into the calculator, I'm giving something away.
Yeah.
Anyway, this tool can be used. You can come back and get stuff sent over to them. But we're going to talk about.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. So Kendra, we talked about there's 2 different revenue streams. You promised at the beginning of the call. In the first one, I think everyone kind of knows this, and go out there, like we said, build clients directly. And what we mean by that is ask yourself, who would be a good candidate for my service, and how do I build clients with them? The second one is you're asking yourself, who would be a good client for me and who's already in front of them?
Right.
And so what I mean by that is, obviously, if you want to be in front of commercial property owners, then commercial realtors are a great way, or commercial builders. If you want to be in front of employers and things like that, then you want to be in front of insurance and financial services people, And so what I'm talking about there is, I think so often people don't realize that you need to build a network of partners. You can either go out there and you can build direct clients, or you can build a network of partners that are already in front of your ideal client. This is a great way to be in front of people.
Right. It's interesting too, because we talk about this burnout mentality that so many of our clients have,
Yeah.
but our colleagues have that same mentality sometimes, right?
Yeah.
They're sick and tired of being where they are, that we talked about earlier. They're
Oh,
evaluating their
You're
lives,
so spot on.
and they don't like where they're at,
Yeah.
looking for the same solutions.
You are so spot on. It just became like 85 degrees in here. So I'm turning the air back on. If the noise is too noisy, let us know in the comments, and we'll just talk closer to our mics. Kendra, you might want to pull in just a little bit though. I like that. Like, in the same way that a business owner is evaluating and saying, man, I really, we're halfway through the year. I can't believe it. I promised myself A, B, and C. And they realize it's not there.
Right.
In the same way, your colleagues are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They're halfway through the year, and they're still just as stuck, most of them, as they were.
In just the same way we bring a solution to our client base,
I like that.
we can give a solution to those people who are colleagues of ours. They're out there in front of the clients that we want to be in front of. We have a solution for them as well.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in our client-based communication that we can really neglect that side.
Yeah, we don't even think of that as an option, when really this is the thing that's going to take someone from being, solo, being a solopreneur, to being someone, Kendra, this is the only way you're going to be able to get very large amounts of credits out there
Mhm.
is by offering it through a team.
I do see a couple people in the box asking about, how do I do that? If you guys have questions on how to get set up with that, how to get started on it, reach out to me and my team, because I want to help make sure we get you guys set up to reach, anyone that you're looking to get in contact with. So I do see a few of you asking. I just wanted to pop in and let you know. Definitely reach out to us here at Support. That's what we're here for. I want to help you guys get started with that.
I think I even saw something about somebody asked, like, well, how do we do that? Like, how are we going to how do we communicate that to a potential partner? And I touched on it a second ago, but it's mirroring the same thing that we do with our client base. Right, Ryan? Like, walk us through that so that they understand.
I talked about when you run into a client, you have your phone, you have your tablet, and you've got your calculator, you've got your tool, you've got your website. I would say that this is the exact same way. I think sometimes we forget how powerful a tool our website is. But Kendra, if I was sitting down with someone and I meet a partner, the dialogue looks exactly the same.
I know that's going to be confusing to some advisors.
It's the same.
This is a partnership. Like, how am I going to talk to them the same way I would a client? But it really is.
It really is.
Almost the
let
same
me
conversation,
show you without
right?
full role play. Let me show you what that looks like. So if we're talking, then I'm, how's it going? How's your summer? That kind of thing. And then eventually they're like, how's your summer? And you're like, oh, it's good. My kids, off to college next year. So it's nice. It's been a good year. So I'm getting an opportunity to kind of take the summer off. And so, we're doing Europe for a couple months.
What lets you do that? Like, how are you able to take the whole summer off?
Well, it's been a good couple of years. And, I'm tapped into a group. We have $2.3 trillion in local, state, and federal incentives. And our job is we've got to get as much of that out in small and mid-sized companies as possible. So, it's been a good year.
That's interesting. How do you get to be a part of something like that?
Well, and I think they're going to ask one of two questions. They're going to ask, how did you become a part of it? Or they're going to say, well, like, who would get money?
What kind of clients?
It doesn't matter. They're both going to lead to the same thing. So if they ask me, how do you become a part of that?
I'm just making this up as we go.
Then I'm into, but if they're like, well, what kind of company, like what kind of money, what kind of that and everything, you're like, well, anyone that, owns a commercial property, has employers. I mean, heck, most of your clients would they're probably all getting money, or if they haven't heard of it. So what kind of clients are you servicing?
I have hotels. Most of my clients are hotels.
Yeah. And so, as an example for a hotel, I work with a lot of hotels. Let me show you. And this is where I'm busting out my phone, or I'm breaking out my, my iPad at that point. And I'm either going to go over to services or I'm going to go to industries. I love the cost seg page. I live on this all the time. I'd say, well, for a hotel, they're going to qualify for some programs because they're a commercial property owner. In fact, I can show you, we can build a full report and you can give it to them, that kind of thing. And so hotels going to qualify for on average this. And Kendra, I'm just going to go through this even though this is a partnership, I'm going to leave with a client today. And if I'm lucky, I'm going to leave with a client and a new team member,
right?
Because I'm either going to service your hotel client. So here we're to the calculator. I'm saying, well, let's look at one of your companies. Do you got any hotels in mind or whatever? I'll just run an example for you.
And you just literally take the information from them, even if they're estimates, run it through. And as they see that bar moving across the bottom of the page, it's so impressive.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you can add at this point too is that if they wanted to work with the same services, they have access to all the same tool group. Like you said a minute ago, our websites are highly impressive. Your name is on the bottom.
Yeah.
If you're sharing it with them, that's something that you can use to tie together the whole thing, that they have access to the same kind of amazing tools that you have.
And then from there, you can just kind of say, hey, and they're like, man, that's amazing. So you're going to get my client $340,000. And you're like, oh, I'm probably going to get them more than that. And then they say, well, how do we do this? Mm-hmm. And that's where you say, well, we could do it one of two ways. We could either set up a meeting, you and I could present it together, or I can get you set up, you can get your own affiliate, and you can, and I like the word affiliate or partner, or, whatever the case is, whatever they would identify with. But at that point, I would say, or, you can get set up. I honestly, like, once you can either use my site or you could get your own site. I have some people back in my office. Remember the buddy approach? I have some people back in my office. They actually do all the heavy lifting. They'll do all the fulfillment. I don't have to know all the tax side of things.
It's so simple.
All I have to do is build relationships and get as much money out as I can.
Right. Because you've told them basically, I just have to do this,
Yeah.
which is what you just did with them, this very simple conversation. And they can imagine themselves doing the very same thing. It's so simple. It's so easy. You just did it with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
And so at that point, you're walking them through. And Kendra, you've added something new. Anyone that has the premium version of the website, you've actually added a brand new, it's right at the top. It's live right now. It says affiliates. Now, we didn't put partner with affiliate is something that everyone gets.
Right.
And so you could send people to the same client. Remember, the client pitch and the affiliate pitch,
Pretty
the partner
much the
pitch,
same thing.
it's all the same thing.
Right.
We have trillions of dollars in money. You qualify, or your clients qualify. And now you're in this position. And Kendra, it's not auto playing, but
Yeah, this page is
you
great.
built out this whole
You guys
affiliate
know what
page.
our pages look like. The landing pages are excellent. They do an education, walks them through all of the benefits of being an affiliate, what it means for them, what they would be doing, what they don't have to worry about
Yeah.
doing. There's FAQs on there. There's testimonials on there. So you just show it to them. It does the same thing that a cost seg landing site would do for a hotel
Now, the
client.
great thing you've added, much like someone can become a client without any intervention, at the bottom of this page, your team has added, they can become an affiliate.
Yeah, they
There is
just
no,
click on the
you
button.
don't, people say, well, how do they become an affiliate? At the bottom of this page, they just click on it and become an affiliate. They
And
enter
I
their first
wanna-
name, last name, email.
I want to point something out. This is your page, as they all are.
Yeah.
So then they're associated with you, and they are one of your team members, and you make money off of that.
Yep.
Simple.
Absolutely.
We
So-
couldn't make it any more simple.
Yeah. I hope you are getting it. So Heather, you can, well, actually, I'm sorry. I am still on a couple of visuals. Kendra, you're breaking the 4 slide rule. I'm just like,
Yeah, there was 5 or 6. No,
No,
we're
there's
actually
more
going to
than that.
cover a couple of things. There's more than that.
okay. So those are the 2 revenue streams. I don't want to move on past that too quickly, but anything else to cover?
No,
On the
I
revenue
think
streams.
if you have any questions, throw them there. But I think we're ready to move on to one of our big announcements.
Yeah.
You touched on this a few minutes ago, but summertime. So we're going to make our money at the end of summer is our highest income. So that's why summer is so important. Can't lose the momentum. We need to keep going. And in order to make sure that we do that, we're going to launch Summer Breeze again this
Yeah.
summer.
So in case it didn't ring through, you're understanding that from August 1st, around August 1st and through October 30th, that's our most gross revenue that we do of any period of time of the year. But in order to do that, you've got to be doing activity now. Now, some of it is you got to go be building direct clients. Some of it is you really should be going and building a team.
Those 2 streams.
But the other part of it is you've built this autopilot program. Now, everyone can participate in this. This is completely free.
Mhm.
I know last month we launched something that was available for premium.
Right.
This is, everyone has access to this. You do have to opt into it.
Right. It is a weekly email that you have to opt into. Comes directly to your email box. And that email is super simple. Everything is self-contained within the email. I don't send you out to the blueprint page or anything. So you do have to watch for the email. Comes from the marketing department. And it gives you about an hour's worth of real work, but it's going to keep your momentum growing. If you want, you can expand on it and kind of build even faster. It's going to give you goals for the week. It's going to tell you how to accomplish those goals, and it's going to give you the tools to do so.
Heather,
all
not
within the
yet, but in
email.
a minute, I'm going to ask for the blueprint page just so you can, but don't pull that up yet. So all of these, let's look at, you're going to register, which we're going to show you in just a minute. It's completely free. And by the way, you can opt out whenever you want just by reaching out to support. Don't click unsubscribe.
Yeah, I beg you,
unsubscribe.
please don't click unsubscribe because it will unsubscribe you from every single email that you would
Yeah,
get from
we
us.
only email you once a week. We email you Monday mornings, and you'll get, and let's look at what one of them looks like. You'll get an initial email. Now, Kendra, we didn't actually talk about this in our slide deck, but we're unlocking 3 blog articles for you to go out there and share socially
Mhm.
that we'll show here in a minute. And you'll get that email today. It's not like I'm selling something. It's free. You just enter your info. So we'll show you that. And then go ahead, Kendra.
I did want to ask Heather, because we were talking about this earlier. She had some feedback. We've been doing this, Heather, like 4 years.
Yeah. Quite a few
And-
years now.
Yeah.
So Summer Breeze itself is not a brand new regiment. That weekly regiment is something that's already pretty standard now for us. And the feedback from advisors who have used it over the last few years is incredible. The connections they're making, the responses that they're getting when it comes time to start meeting with those clients. It's everything that you guys have talked about so far about kind of planting those seeds through the summer. That's exactly what this regiment has been doing based on the feedback that we're getting back from them. So it's been amazing.
I love too. I think somebody said it's become a thing because somebody was like, are we doing it this year?
Yeah.
So you know that it's something that is making a difference for advisors when they're asking, hey, are we doing Summer Breeze this year? When is it going to start? You know, so I did want to make sure to bring that in because it's an important tool
Yeah.
for this time frame. You guys know why, because we've already talked about it.
Well, let's look at what a week looks like. So the first thing in your email, you're going to see there's a goal. And so, in this particular case, you're going to build out a list. You're going to send a couple of emails and probably send a couple of text messages, nothing in bulk or anything like that. And then Kendra, you give them a couple of social posts pre-done.
Yep.
All they have to do is right click, copy, paste.
And again, everything's self-contained in the email itself. So it's not going to take you out to a page. You do need to follow the instructions. Everything is there.
Has
And-
your code, your
Yes.
website, everything like that. And then emails.
Emails as well as scripts. And when I say scripts, I mean scripting for verbal on the phone as well as SMS. You can adapt them either way. And they follow through with the theme. Every couple of weeks, our themes will change on what we're focusing on. And that'll be clear by the Summer Breeze email for that week.
And I know they can't really see it, but Kendra, you skipped right over email. You talked about script a little bit, but I mean, every single week you're giving them email templates so that they can
Fresh,
cut and paste those
new,
out.
and they're based again on whatever our focus is for that week, whether it be TMS, cost seg, R&D. There is going to be a focus each week, and everything will tie back together, all the way back to your social, everything.
I know they can't necessarily see it on the screen here, but there's a press release. So you've got them a press release.
Is going to be pretty impressive because it gives you 3 different articles that you're going to be able to go out there and use that you, there was a similar version last year, but these are different. As well as your press release, I think is like week 3 or something like that. I keep it simple. I didn't throw everything at you guys all at one time, but it's purposeful. And this builds off of everything that we've talked about, those 2 revenue streams, communicating in the manner, meeting people where they are. If you're able to combine all of these things for the summer, you are going to be highly successful.
Yeah. So every week you're spending about an hour, and this is stacking your activity, towards that. So now, Kendra, that's part of what we're giving them. But you've got you mentioned a pretty good tool release.
I almost gave it away earlier. So we released last month an amazing tool with the Build Your Email. And this led into the 14-day closing journey.
Yeah.
So the first question, and I knew we were going to get it, was, can I use this on my existing client cards? And we did not have the ability last month, but we do as of today.
Yeah.
You're able to go in and use this tool for all of your existing client cards. And the one thing I want to share is some of you did this. You tricked the system.
Yeah.
You went in and added some existing client cards as new clients so you could use it, which, I mean, great. That's awesome. No problem there. But I got feedback, and you were able to resurrect deals that were stale and dead. And now there's like a handful, I think 6 or 7 different advisors who have clients that are moving through the process. Cost seg, I don't remember. Most of them are cost seg, but they're moving through the process. They resurrected a dead deal based on using this tool. So that was really exciting.
Yeah. So this tool, for anybody that missed it last month, you answer a couple of basic questions, and you're going to get auto-generated this beautiful 14-day closing strategy with text messages, emails, everything based on, it's all AI generated based on how they knew them, what industry they were, everything. And now we've added this right inside of the client card.
One thing I do want to point out is it'll transition through the week. Either it'll say closing assistant, or it may still say discovery card,
Book a
card.
discovery
Book
call.
a discovery call right there. It doesn't matter. They both are going to lead you to the closing assistant tool, which is what we're calling it now.
So in any client card that's already in there, you can go there. You're going to click that red circle right there, as long as it's an existing client card, and that's going to take you to your closing assistant. Now, Kendra, there's a few things on there. We've got your action plan, which has a full breakdown of email templates, everything customized to them. They can book a discovery call right from there. They can go through and generate a savings analysis or update the savings analysis. And then they can also add follow-up notes and things like that to the client card. So all of that is there.
I've even given them little cheat sheet links to the portal, Marketing Home, and Blueprint. I do want to point something out. I don't have the ability to like combine these pages in one place for the advisors. So if you do create one for a client, bookmark it, save the link so you can get back to it.
Well, the nice thing too, though, is now they can go to any client card.
You can go to the client card and click on it and it will take you back there. So
yep. So that would be a good way as well.
We got Reed said, this is in my toolbox now. Yes, but don't go there. Don't leave us just yet. But this is live as of today.
We'll show in just a moment. Kendra, you also added, just in case we skipped over it earlier, or in case it felt like we skipped over it.
This is big. We've never had the ability to add to a team within this structure in your GMG toolbox or your GMG website, I should say. But that page is there now. It is live for people who are in premium, and you'll see it. You can start using it today. It's live already.
Yeah. So you can always, if you're not in premium, you can bring in partners and affiliates the way you always have.
Absolutely.
But this is a new way that understand when you're working with a client. This happens to us all the time. You're working with a client, they own a restaurant, and one of their things is, well, I'm tied into the such restaurant association, and I know other restaurant owners. How do I offer this?
Boom, right there.
You think that clients and companies and everything aren't looking for other revenue streams? They absolutely are. And this is done in this like not in your face way. This is why we go with the word affiliate, because Kendra, there's nothing, offensive. If you were shopping on Target's website and you saw become an affiliate, you wouldn't be turned off by that.
The word affiliate has become very casual, very commonplace is right. The word, right word I was looking for anymore. We all understand what it means. It means somebody that works with another company and they get money based off of what they bring to that company. I see them on my websites all the time. So for it to be there,
if somebody doesn't want to be an affiliate, they don't have to click on
it. It won't offend anyone.
But you catch the power of this. Then now when you send to clients, partners, etc., over to check out your website, they, without ever having a dialogue with you, can self-enroll as an affiliate with you.
Which we have, we do beta test everything, and it has worked in that manner without anybody pitching them to become a partner. And they self-enroll as a partner, which is great. We get self-enrollments for clients. Of course, we're going to get self-enrollments for affiliates.
Absolutely. And I mentioned earlier, but the nice part is they can do it just like they fill out a calculator and someone can become a client. Someone can fill this out and become an affiliate instantly.
Exactly.
So Heather, you can drop that. What I do want to show before we go deep into Q&A is let's show the Blueprint page. And then we'll go into Q&A. So on the page that you're watching, it looks like a lot of you are on YouTube right now. So the page you were on right before you went to YouTube, we don't have that page open, or if you're watching on the web, where Kendra sent you today in your email, that page, it's probably still open in your tab browser. Don't do it yet. But if you scroll up just a little bit above the video you clicked on or a little bit below the YouTube video, there's a button that says Blueprint. That's going to take you to your Blueprint page. Kendra, at 5:00 Eastern, you're also going to email everyone in about an hour saying this. Now, this is the Blueprint page. It has a few things I want to cover. One is enrollment in Summer Breeze. So here's what you do. You enter your email address, you hit submit. You will get weekly emails, these bite-sized action plans all summer. And it's once a week. If you want out of them, you email support. Now, today, for anyone that goes and enters this today, they're getting a bonus email before next week's start. And Heather, if you scroll down just a little bit, Kendra, talk about this. I again, see, we're not selling anything. I said it's bonus, but you get these bonus articles that the team put together.
There's 4 of them. And like Ryan said, week 1 technically starts next week. This is kind of a get you kickstarted, I guess. These are 4 different articles. You can decide how you'd like to use them. You can share them socially. You can send them direct links to people that they'd interest. However you want to use them. The email that I send you today for Summer Breeze will kind of explain the best way or best practices on how to use them. But you'll have access to these all summer as well. So you can just save the links and you can send them out as you see fit. 4 great articles to generate interest.
Now, the other thing I want to show is right below this. This is the email tool. And we talked about this. It's more than the email tool. This generates an email, generates an action plan. So for anyone that missed it last month, or I just want to show you this again. This is so cool. So Heather, we're going to go through this real quick. So let's say that I have someone and I have a previous work relationship with them. And so I'm just going to click that. And then let's say they're a restaurant. I'm going to click that. And then let's say that I want to focus on cost segregation with them. So in 3 clicks, we've now generated this custom email. Now here's what's cool. All the links in this email are my web pages. Mm-hmm. You're going to drive them. Notice, Heather, if you'd highlight it there where it says restaurant tax credits, a custom page that's just for restaurants. That's my page, has my name and my email address and phone number on the bottom of it. And this generated all in real time. The things that we're taking into account here is the fact that I wanted to highlight cost seg, the fact that they are a restaurant, the fact that I have a previous working relationship with them. All of those were factored in.
Right, into developing this email. There's 4 factors that go into any email. How you know the person, where you want them to end up, and who they are and how you're going to get them there.
Yeah.
And we take all 4 of those based on those questions that we ask you, and we generate this email based off of those 4 answers.
And then if you scroll up just a little bit, show them the do it button up.
This way.
Yep. So where it says build a client card, if you don't have a client card for them yet, this is where you can build a client card. We won't go all the way through this, but first name, last name, company, email, what industry they are.
And we've never been able to do this outside of
the portal.
Yeah. So this is kind of.
So you're going to build a client card for them. You're going to unlock the ability to book a discovery call. You can do a savings analysis from there. But more importantly, Kendra's going to give you a 14-day action plan with all of your everything that you need. So that is all right on the blue. I mean, Heather, I think you're still on the blueprint page, right?
Yeah, I didn't go anywhere.
So this is all right there that you can use this tool.
I do want to point one thing out, if I can, really quickly. The email address that you use, please use an email address that you use, the one that you use to sign up to become an advisor. It ties everything back together for you in the system.
Well, here's why. All those things that we generate for you, the custom emails, everything, use the same email that Kendra just used to invite you to the broadcast.
You have to. Otherwise, your links and stuff aren't going to work right. So please use the right email address. I want everything to work correctly for you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's dive into some questions. Heather, I think you can keep... You could stay part of this and you feed us questions, but you can get rid of the screen for right now. I will start with Frank's first question. Mm-hmm. This is a good one. That's the same thing I teased you about last month. Is saying this is a good one for all of them. They're all good questions. All right. If you want to put that one on screen, Heather, it's Frank's first one under starred. Meetings seem to go well enough. No action is taken by attendees. Now what? So, Frank, I would say, first of all, if you haven't watched last month, you want to watch last month because we went into that a little bit in detail. If you did, that's fine as well. I'll cover it now as well. I would say if you're having trouble getting post-meeting follow-up, the big thing to do is do all the work during the meeting. Like remember how I said, whatever you're experiencing, just change your approach. So if people are saying my CPA handles that, take the word tax out of your equation. Well, in the same way, if people aren't taking action, change the meeting. So you said you've had several meetings and there's no post-action. That might be because the business owners in your area are busy. So when you meet with them, instead of saying, well, let's set up a time to go over this, or I'm going to send you the calculator. What you want to do is you want to do the calculator with them live in real time. Yep. And you're going to book the discovery call at the end of that calculator. That's just naturally part of the process.
So you never leave the interaction without the next step already booked or
Yes.
already set in stone. And probably what's happening is he's sending the link, which, but what happens is they don't ever get around to using it. So if you
Yeah.
take the opportunity, you're already engaged with them in that moment, and you get through the calculator part and you book that, you don't have to worry about what's next. It's already done.
Yeah. All right, Heather, you keep those questions flowing and fire away.
So there's a really interesting question in here that I wanted to bring up, and it's specifically about the affiliates. And it kind of is, how does that work out for commissions? Does that come out of their commissions when they're setting up as an affiliate? Is that direct? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when there's really two different ways that a partnership can work with you. One is you don't have to offer them to be an affiliate. They could just be a partner and you get all the commission. They get nothing. I have a lot of those, especially with CPAs. They don't tend to want a cut. From my experience. And so with them, they just contact you when they have a client and you work the client. That'd be one way. Your other way is to bring them in as an affiliate. And with an affiliate, they're going to get the commission and you're going to get the override, so you're kind of trading positions
Which
there.
doesn't come out of your commission at all. It's completely separate. It doesn't come out of yours. It doesn't come out of theirs.
They're
It's
getting
a separate.
They're getting the same commission that you would have gotten, and you're getting an override in that case. And if you have questions, you can check your agreement for what your override is, or you can reach out to support on that. But it's just a different model. Think of it like, again, if they're just a partner, they're not registered or anything like that. You're getting all of your commission and you may or may not be giving them anything. If they're an affiliate, they're getting all the commission and you're getting a smaller override. But remember too, your involvement was a one-time introduction at that point.
Most of the time our team members don't even know that their affiliates are doing deals until they get paid on them.
Yeah.
There's no involvement needed on your point. Once that person comes in and is one of your team members, that's all that it takes.
Yeah. So good question.
Yeah, Troy and Walt both had that question. Precious has a question on what the difference is between being premium and not being premium. Can we touch on that for her?
Yes. Well, first of all, I understand why you have that question. It's because we don't talk about it that much, because I feel bad talking about it because I feel like I'm selling you. So let's talk about everything you get, not premium. Just everyone gets. You get email templates, social templates. You get our basic website, and you get basic emails, like plain text emails. So I don't ever want you to feel like you can't succeed without premium, because plenty of people don't have premium and do just fine with it.
It's a fine tool set. There's an expense that comes along with a lot of the tools that we make for premium.
Yeah.
We have to host imaging. We have to host
videos.
There's some development costs that go into a lot of the work. And so there has to be a way to pay for those costs that are involved.
What you get with premium is you get premium social posts, which include more social posts, includes explainer videos that are coded to you. So when someone watches that explainer video and then they sign up, it's literally coded to you. That's an expense. You get HTML emails. You get about 3 times as many social posts and things like that. There's just a lot more cost in those. You also get the premium full website, which has industry pages, blog articles. There are some blog articles that are part of basic.
The affiliate link now.
The affiliate link, all of these different things, the explainer videos that are hard coded into the premium site. So that full website that we just showed, as well as the AI email generator, you got to understand those things cost money literally every time they're used. Not to mention the team that's here. So premium's $99 a month. You don't have to be in it. You can be perfectly successful without it. But at the same time, some people say, well, at $99 a month, you got to understand, if you get in front of one more client a year and they buy a life insurance policy off of you because you had a little better marketing or something like that, I mean, that thing pays for itself for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
And we hear that all the time. People say, well, I'm using the premium marketing tools to go out there and get in front of doctors and other clients I wouldn't normally be able to get in front of with just my financial services. And that might be, so don't just think of it like, am I going to make back $99 a month in specialized tax incentives? Well, I should hope so. But really think about it as a whole entity, whether that be financial services, real estate services, whatever the case is. You also have the ability to generate cost seg feasibilities in real time.
Mhm.
There's a lot of
Book
things
in real
like that.
time with a team leader.
Yes, that's the other part too. $99 a month, you get a buddy. And you know what I mean by that is you have a dedicated team leader. So there's a lot of things that come in. So Precious, good question there. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. And yeah, good question.
She did pop in and say, as always, valuable overview and updates. I have to say, before I go to any other questions, I am so excited with how much we launched today. I don't think we've ever
Yes.
launched this many tools
No.
in one time. I mean, between everything that we showed today and the email builder from last month. So Precious, I'm really excited for you engaging in this because these are amazing tools. And I am excited for summer. It's going to be busy for us, but I am so excited for that.
Absolutely.
Daryl had a question about some of the previous training. So he wanted to go back to last month and some of the stuff that we had built upon for the last couple months, but he's a little lost on where to find our training.
I'm going to leave that one for you to handle.
I would love to.
Yeah,
Can
would you pop that
say
up on
up the
That's your
So-
department.
so you all are familiar with, this is the blueprint page we just pulled up for you guys. In the toolbox in the blueprint page, you'll see that header at the top here, training and resources. In here, there's that video training portion. So partner broadcast down here, that'll take you to the live one that's happening right now. So that's the page you're already most likely on if you're not watching on YouTube. But you can always watch this back on that same page. We keep it up for the next month right here at partner broadcast. And then under video training, I'm going to open this in another tab here and show you. This will take you straight to the YouTube archives. So it's a really great place to be able to not just access what's going on live right now, but all the prior calls stay here under
Yeah, you
this
got to
live
click
tab.
live.
Yes.
A lot of people think click videos, and that would make sense. But because we do these live, they're under the live tab.
Yes. So use that live tab. So you can see here's the event going on right now. Here's last month and the last couple months that we built across. So each one kind of built upon itself for a few months there, but usually these are really great standalones. And a lot of the time we kind of cover and pull content in from different places. So make sure you guys do kind of refer back to these, especially if you're newer. Most likely on your welcome, we touched on this and kind of walked through it because it is so amazing to be able to look back and hear a lot of that content that we've covered recently.
One of my favorite things to do is take my mouse over the videos and just see the many hairstyles of Heather Trudeau. So
Don't go back too far, guys. It's not a flip book of
if you just mouse over, you'll get a different Heather on every.
Mine never changes. Heather's always changes.
No, Ryan and Kendra don't age, guys. They're the same in every video. I'm telling you.
Yeah, like this video right now. This was recorded in 2009. So.
That is a good question, though, Daryl. I'm glad you asked because I do want you guys kind of referencing back to that if you ever want to rewatch something.
Can we take John Martin's next, and then
Yeah.
I'll let you.
John has two. Are we looking at the
The commercial
alternative?
realtors.
Commercial realtors. Awesome.
I didn't see his other one, but we'll go to that one next, I guess,
Yeah. So
or
he's
whatever one you want.
asking what to say to commercial realtors. It's a great connection too.
Oh man, well, a couple of things. Heather, do you happen to remember? Was it January that we covered partners?
I believe it was February that we
Okay.
covered partners.
So first of
Yes.
all, I will answer your question, John. But in February, I spent about 30 or 40 minutes on this topic, and you get to see a full walkthrough of what we cover. So I think the February go to YouTube, go to live, go to February's, and you'll see that. But for a commercial realtor, so if I'm sitting down and I'm talking to someone, I did like a really good full walkthrough. So I'm trying to remember, make sure to watch that. You're not going to want to miss it. But in essence, I think the formula is talking to them and finding out what it is they're wanting to accomplish this year. I think that's really where I started or where I start. And same thing for commercial builders. And so that's where they're going to say, well, I want to be the biggest this, or I'm trying to that, or I'm tackling all the lead, or I want to be the mall guy, whatever or I'm going to be I'm moving into manufacturing. They have a goal. You say, oh, that's great and everything like that. What do you think your biggest, things are going to keep you from that? So first, what's their goal? Second, what do you think is going to get in the way of that and everything? And then it's going to be, well, interest rates are too high or whatever. They'll give you their obstacles. They know their obstacles. And you're just chit-chatting at this point. And this is where the pivot comes. Well, I mean, the realtors that I work with, they're kind of in a better shape than ever because of all the federal money available.
Ding, ding.
What federal
Yeah.
money? Well, I work with a group. It's actually another division of ours. And this kind of helps because maybe you're saying, maybe they know you as a financial services or whatever. You say, well, one of our divisions, this is all they do. There's like $2.3 trillion available for employers and commercial property owners and things like that. That's all they do.
Yeah, their mind's going to be like, wait, what is he talking about?
Now I'm into and they say, well, what kind of companies? We'll say, what's a project you did last year? Now I want I want one that's done. I don't want the guy they're trying to land. I want the guy they sold last year. Why? Because I can get him money today, right now. So I say, what's one of the projects you did last year? And, they might say, well, a manufacturing plant. Well, let me show you what we can do for let me show you. And then you say, how much did he buy the building for? Well, it's 6.2 million. Okay, boom. I'm in the calculator. So that's what you say.
It's that easy too, to get them into the calculator. I know that when Ryan goes through role playing, it seems simple, but it seems simple because it is. I've seen this happen time and time and time again. And when you're like that and you're like, well, let me show you.
I mean, Heather, pop up the site real quick. Everyone should get this. So if I'm talking to a commercial realtor, be ready to just follow along on the premium site. So Kendra, if you wouldn't mind being you're a realtor, you're going to answer manufacturing in a minute. I don't mean to, but so just to stick with what we just went through. So what do you how's your practice going? I mean, I'm seeing your signs everywhere.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well this year.
Yeah. What's the end game at this point? Like, you going to grow the agency out more, or what do you?
Well, we want to be the top manufacturing.
So get me over there you go. I'm sorry. And you can hang here.
We're working our way towards it.
Yeah. What kind of things are you running into though? I mean, real estate's got to be going well right now. What's going to keep you from that?
Just being able to differentiate ourselves from other people. We're working on doing some of that. So
that's a good one. That's a really good one. So if someone says they want to differentiate, if they say I need money, that's a good answer. If they say I want to differentiate that, well, what sets you guys apart now as a real estate agency?
I mean, we're personal. We get the job done. I feel like we're doing an amazing job, but I got to find that thing that makes us better than everybody else. I got a guy that I got to introduce you to. In my case, my team leader is Kate. So I would say I got a gal that I got to introduce you to. She works in one of our other divisions. She works mostly with commercial builders, but I can imagine realtors would be the exact same thing. She finds federal money for real estate transactions. Yeah, that would differentiate me from everybody else. So yeah, I should talk to this person.
Yeah, I'll get you set up. Like, what's one of the projects you guys did last year?
We did a manufacturing company.
Yeah, that would qualify. So Heather, at this point, I'm going to go to industries and manufacture because they just said one of the, if not, I'm going to go to services, but we can there. She said one of the magic industries. So yeah, let me show you. So, I got to introduce you to Kate. So what she can do for a manufacturer. So for that facility that you did, they'd likely qualify for like 2 or 3 different services I can think of right off the bat. I'm not the expert in that area, but she's going to get you all covered. But let me take a look. How much did they pay for the building? At that point, I'm clicking on the calculator. How much did they pay for the building?
$4.5 million.
Okay. And so at this point, I'm selecting manufacturer. Do you know how many people they got over there?
Like as far as employees?
Yeah.
They have 2 shifts. I would imagine they're around 280.
Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You're good, Heather, but you can see where this is headed. Mm-hmm. So really good question. I forgot who that was.
That was one of John's questions.
That was John. John,
yes.
Great question there. And thanks, Heather, for keeping up there. Really good question. Heather, what's our next question?
So Basil had an interesting question. I love that you brought this up, Basil. So Basil's question is, I had a potential client ask, what kind of questions am I going to be asked on that call when they book the expert call? Or what should they be prepared to have?
Yeah, the interesting thing is that you guys already know what questions they're going to ask because they are basically going to confirm the questions that we ask throughout the calculator.
Yeah.
And just kind of make sure that everything's accurate. There wasn't any fat fingering or anything. That's about it. Like we'll talk to them and kind of get to know them. But as far as like information, we're just going to confirm the questions that we ask throughout the calculator.
Yeah. And I'll, everything she just said, I'll answer that in kind of almost role play form. Cause that's so if someone asked me that, I would say, well, that's, tomorrow we'll go over, some of the information we went over today. We'll present your savings analysis so
That's
that you
good, yeah.
know what you're going to qualify for. And then mainly we kind of want to know who you want us to work with. You as a business owner, I know are super busy. And so that's the last time you really have to be involved in this if you want. So we want to show you what you have, coming, how long it's going to take, answer any questions you may develop overnight, and then find out who you want us to work with.
Yeah,
That's it.
Perfect, because you lay the groundwork for that right away. It kind of puts them at ease too, because then they're like, oh, I don't have to deal with any more of this.
Yeah. I think we have time for a couple more questions. So fire away, Heather.
John had another question earlier on, and that is, what would you say is an alternative to using the words tax incentives for business owners?
I just say federal programs, and I'll use that in a sentence, so if I'm talking, so if I find that I'm coming up against a block there, or it could just be, it's news cycle, it's time of year, it's, so if I'm running into that, you notice what I was saying earlier, I said, well, I work with a group that we're tapped into $2.3 trillion in local, state, and federal programs. My job is to get as much of that money out there in the hands of small and mid-sized businesses as possible. And so, really we work with a lot of restaurants, manufacturing, that kind of thing.
It's a word that a lot of our clients are comfortable with.
Yeah.
I hate saying post-COVID, but post-COVID, it makes sense because so many things were available federally through COVID.
Yeah. So local, state, and federal programs.
Jason has a good question, Heather. The first one there, if you want to take that one next.
Well, it is a really good question. This kind of ties back to some of what we covered last month too, but Jason's question is, he has a client that told him, my accountant said I shouldn't do a cost tag because I don't own the building. But he did put over $500,000 into opening the restaurant.
I would be surprised if they put money into the building. It's a leasehold improvement. They qualify for cost segregation. I don't know why their CPA wouldn't be aware of that. So
Yeah.
I would just question it, say, maybe he's not aware that you don't actually have to own the building to be able to capture this money. If you put leasehold expense into the building, you can recapture this.
Yeah.
Let me show you how much that would be.
And I'll throw out a secondary approach too, just being in mode. So if someone said that to me, I would say, okay, sounds good. That's one of the programs we look at. Maybe it's a good fit, maybe it's not. There are other programs for leasehold improvements. There's programs for being an employer.
Right.
There's a lot of things. I think really what we want to do is, based on what I'm seeing here, I'm confident you're going to qualify for at least 2 or 3 programs. So let's get on a call for tomorrow and kind of walk through. Maybe it's a good fit, maybe it's not. But either way, we'll kind of know. Even if that one's not good, there's employer-based programs that I know you're going to be a good fit
There's
for.
special restaurant programs right now.
Yeah.
So
you can take either one of those. Sometimes you can tell if people are like, they feel really high on their CPA. You're not going to get anywhere on arguing that point.
yeah,
So that's where I just say, well, just listen,
sidestep it.
maybe
and
that's a
offer
good program.
others.
Maybe it's not for you. What I can tell you is we look at hundreds of local, state, and federal programs. I can tell you right now, there's programs that as an employer, you qualify for it. There's other programs that are available for leasehold improvements. Some of them are at a state level. Some of them are at a federal level. We'll know more after we do our call. So let
Good
someone
answer.
else do the pitch for you. That's why you have a team leader, especially those of you that are in premium.
So I'm sorry, you don't have a name on here. You have like your company name. So I'm not sure who submitted this one, but it is a really good question. It's the priest at his church also owns a custom home construction building, and they referred him to talk to his CPA. How do they bring the CPA into the conversation? What's a good way to bridge that?
Well, I'm going to say again, this is where we need to kind of sidestep and eliminate that word tax out of the equation if you're getting this. So if someone said that, I would kind of say, well, I think we're probably a bit ahead of ourselves. We're not to the point of CPA, because some of these are going to, like, is your CPA your payroll provider? And a lot of they're like, no, ADP and Paychex are. Okay, are they your HR department? No, they're not. Okay, because some of these are fulfilled by your HR department. I think we're probably ahead of ourselves in involving your CPA. What I'd really like to do is set up, 15-minute phone call where we can go through, just look at what programs you may or may not qualify for, And then if there's some that your CPA needs to be in, I don't want them billing you some hours for something that maybe just is something your HR department needs to look at. So just back that train up a little bit and get them off the concept of CPA.
Now, I do want to bring this one up. It was Troy's question about when we do federal R&D, do we automatically also look at the state R&D credits?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can even see on we have specialty state pages for those of you that are in premium. There's 6 of them right now, and it's the 6 highest, and Texas is one of them. Because the benefit is so high in several states, we did some active going after those areas. Some of our advisors did. So yes, automatically when we look at federal, if there's a state credit, we move forward with that as well.
There's also that really nice state little calculator widget that's on the premium site when you're on the R&D page to be able to look up and see what kind of state credits are available too.
Yep.
So,
I forgot about that. Good one. So rate available on your premium website. So next question.
next
Heather, we
question.
probably got room for, depending on the length of the question, like 2 or 3 more. So
Okay, I have to bring Rick's question on. I love this question. He says, if most of my competitors tend to go quiet during slow seasons, what's the single highest leverage thing I could automate right now that would put me in front of those warm prospects?
that's so good.
I would say, I don't know, as far as automating it, there's lots of options, and I don't want to give a solution because that would be me saying use this program or that program, but automating your communication and making sure you're not going quiet.
Yeah.
Whether that's warm touches via SMS, texting, whether it's posting socially, or it's sending them, hey, I thought of you. This article made me think of you. Just staying in communication, but the communication needs to be relevant. Don't send crap. Don't send fluff. Send something that they would find of interest, even if it's, hey, incentives are really improving. I know you were going to take a look at this when you had a chance. Here's your specific link if you want to take a look and update anything and see what your credit would be today. Stuff like that. Just don't go silent. And there's lots of ways you can automate email,
'cause you
set them up
can
ahead of time.
You can pre-set up your social posts,
You can also pre-schedule text,
your emails.
but don't ever do them in mass.
No.
Not at your level. You're not going to reach the right way. If you send them directly, you're going to get an 80% more higher open rate than you would if you use some kind of program to send a mass.
I think one of the things, it really helps if you're doing things in batches. And what I mean by that is, for me, I find if I'm in the mode of, like, you're using our email widget and you're in the mode of writing email 1, once I have email 1 copied to my clipboard, I'm sending that to 10, 15, 20 people because I'm in email 1 mode and mindset. And today is Monday. Well, then I know, like, on Thursday, I'm going to come send email 2, and I'm going to send to all the same people. If anyone's replied to me during that time, then I can just manually back them off. So, Rick, really good. You do want to do this. You
I want to
do want to
add, for
pre-schedule.
this summer, the best thing you can do is follow the Summer Breeze program. It's going to keep you active, relevant, sending content that they're going to find interesting.
All right, fire away, Heather.
So a couple people were asking again, just to pop up and show them again where that 3-step blueprint is. When he says 3-step blueprint, I believe he means the 3-step email builder on the blueprint. So on the page that you're on right now, or if you are in your toolbox at the top, that blueprint is there. It's one of the tabs right here to be able to use this blueprint page right here that I have up. If you scroll down below the Summer Breeze, but don't do it until you register to participate in Summer Breeze.
And sorry, Heather, just clarify. If they're watching on a page right now, you'll scroll up and you'll see a big blueprint banner. Go ahead.
Yep, you can use that to get right to this page. And here is that 3-step process to be able to get started. So I had just filled out. So let me hit the refresh here. So step 1 is the how do you know them? Step 2 is the industry. Step 3 is if you have a certain service, and that kicks you right into the email, building the client, and that amazing 14-day closing assistant.
And if you already have a client card that you want to utilize the same tool on, just go to the client card. It'll either say book a discovery call or client closing assistant. Click on that. It's going to take you straight in.
All right. I think that is, unless you see anything urgent there, I think that's probably that's our time. So I want to thank everybody for attending, and a quick little recap. So remember that right now, the most important thing you can do is be out in your community. This is it. While you're out, have in mind that everywhere you go, there are direct clients. And I don't just mean business owners. I'm talking about people that work at those companies. You hear countless stories of someone who get to the owner through an employee. So the people you're talking to, they work at places that qualify for what you do. So that's the direct client route. Then you have the partnership route, the affiliate route. Okay. Everyone like you that's a financial planner, that's a CPA, that's a tax advisor, that's in real estate, anyone that's in front of clients is a great candidate. And I don't meet many people, Kendra, that are like, I'm just super happy with where I'm at financially right now. And I'm not really open to making more money.
No.
Okay. Now, listen, do they want to hop in an Uber or DoorDash and deliver groceries and things like that? No, probably not. This is a way that they can make money in the course of their normal business doing what they already do. So this summer, are they going to be at a golf outing and going to run into a client and try to pitch them financial services? Yes. Why not give away free money while you're doing that? Why not double or triple your income this year by doing that? And I'll say the same to you. You're out there. Why not add a new leg of revenue stream? And Kendra, one of the short-sighted things I hear sometimes is, well, they're in my community and they're going to sell to the same people I am. Well, listen, unless you've sold at all the restaurants in your community, wouldn't you rather make a little bit of override on the restaurants they know? And by the way, doesn't this just strengthen your brand in the end? When you go out there and you're talking to someone and you're saying, hey, I offer these services, I can help find money. And they say, I've heard of that before. Well, how have you heard of that? Well, so-and-so and my buddy this, and he got it and that kind of thing. Listen, this just makes you stronger in the end. Everyone I know that's highly successful is not afraid of building out partnerships in their own community. So you shouldn't be either. So go get direct clients, go build out relationships and partnerships, use those two. And today you need to get enrolled in Summer Breeze because that one takes like 10 seconds. And then you're up and running. But please, by all means, don't make Summer Breeze be the only thing that you do this. So
Sounds good.
thank you very much. And we will see you in like 4 weeks. So thank you.